Hello, I'm Marcel. Welcome back to Big Brother Soothsayer, a series in which I will analyze the gameplay of Big Brother and try to make some predictions about what I think the house guests are going to do next, and then we see if I'm right or not. We are currently just over 1 week into the game. As you can see, I'm kind of trying to match the Tomb Raider aesthetic of the POV. I also did get this. I did receive this, my fat fucking L for having so many predictions be absolutely fucking wrong, but that's Big Brother. Honestly, the game is better when there's surprises. It's not fun to see so-and-so and think, okay, they're gonna win, and then they steamroll to the end. And that's only 50% cope saying that. Maybe more, I don't know. But hey, I think a lot of people were pleasantly surprised by the first week of gameplay and by some of the players. Look, I'm sorry, I missed the birth announcement. I did not realize that Dan and Ian had a baby, and his name is Drew. And I'm filling out my apology form to him as we speak because he is doing way better than I think any of us thought he would just based on his first impressions. Another person pleasantly surprising me is Mallory. Again, I really could not get a super good read on her in her first impressions just because, sometimes they are a little bit 2D and it's okay, awkward nerd, got it. Moving on. Her going out and winning that POV, really gunning for it, taking herself off the block, good on her. But yeah, time will tell what Mallory does with that kind of fighting spirit. But for now, I'm really enjoying her awkwardness. It's actually quite endearing, and I'm really rooting for her. Really quickly, just going over some predictions that I had already made. Ashley, unfortunately, is out the door, so really any predictions about her are kind of null and void at this point. I mean, I did say she might have a huge target on her back at some point. Technically that was the first unanimous vote of the season and also the first vote of the season. Ouch. Barrett, still kind of waiting to see how he's going to act. It's only week 1. We really haven't gotten a chance to see him do too much, but he is putting himself in a really good position. I do find Barrett and Dee's relationship interesting. I wonder if it's going to feel like Amanda and McCrae, but less evil. I know I also said that I was hoping he would get together with Jason and be like Zanky, but less evil. At this point, if that were to happen, it would be Zanky but more evil, so we shall see. Chuck, he is in a good alliance. It is still determined to see whether it carries him through the game. Drew, again, I am so sorry, my man. Wrong about you on all fronts. You are doing some scheming in there. It is good. My predictions for Haley were that she would be kind of a Karen and make it to jury. At this point, the latter of those two is not seeming super likely, but we'll see. I did predict that Jason and Angela would get along and that he would stab her in the back. I didn't expect it to happen so soon. Literally speedrun any percent backstabbing Angela. Jason is the all-time winner. I have Kamu down for an alliance falling apart. His appointment seems like it's getting pushed back, but I do think that he is going to make it to the appointment. We'll see. I did clock him and Haley getting along, but that one was probably kind of obvious. Latrice, Lala, I saw her being enemies with Angela. There is some tension between them. I do think that they are firmly not on the same side. I also saw Latrice being kind of a motherly figure for a Misfits alliance, which is technically kind of true. She is the most motherly figure on the opposite side of the house, which you could see as being Misfit, but it's kind of shaky, honestly. Lyric, girl, get up. Girl, get up, please. Mallory, kind of already went over how I feel about her. Melody, caught a Mean Girl vibe from her. She didn't really make that any less true when she distanced herself from Mallory, even though it's arguably understandable to want to distance yourself from someone that's on the block on week 1, but at the same time, nobody liked that. Fucking Rome. Admittedly, I did predict that Rome would win nothing, get nothing, suck, get out of the game really quickly. He might still get out of the game very quickly. We are still only just after week 1. He's looking like a backdoor target, spoiler alert, for this coming week. And he is positioning himself he's positioning himself as the head of the opposition to the power. And he's very arrogant, so it is seeming like it will be very easy to get him out anytime soon. He might still make it kind of far, I don't know. I just would have been remiss if I did not see a Manosphere bro and immediately thrash him. I'll take the L on that one, really. I did say that I thought maybe his heart's not in the Manosphere stuff, wishful thinking, because I truly hope that everybody changes and gets better. I also wish I had $1 million and there wasn't an explosive diarrhea outbreak right now. So, whatever. I will say, I would really like to know how much Manosphere stuff he has actually said, because obviously in his interview, he said the thing about betas and submissives and whatever. And Nobody liked that. But you don't know necessarily what he's saying in the house, because I would like to hope that if any of the house gets heard him saying those exact words, they would head for the hills. But then it seems like he has a lot of friends in there. Then again, on the other hand, Barrett, on one of the live feeds I was watching one night, I did hear him say that there are some things that Rome says sometimes that make him feel like they would not get along in the outside world. And Barrett is in with the girls and the gays and the theys. He has the septum piercings. I feel like he is picking up what is there. I feel like he has enough experience to clock those vibes and know what's going on without Rome having to really explicitly say those things. So I do wonder what he's saying and when and how and to whom. That Barrett can obviously clock what's going on, but maybe some of the others either are not clocking it or are it's subtle enough that they're willing to look past it. Then again, some people honestly, unfortunately, don't really care that much. And also it is a game and he is positioning himself in and amongst a lot of people, so you kind of have to work with what you got. Anyway, Taylor, unfortunately, she's kind of not doing much so far, but hey, laying low in the early game is not bad. As long as she stays safe long enough and is friendly with people, you can go really far without doing a lot in the early games. That's fine. Yosh, honestly, I did predict him being a comp beast. He did win that first BOB, so there is some possibility that that could end up happening if he gets pulled by Rome's side to be kind of like one of their meat shields. But he very pleasantly surprised me. He was another person who didn't come off the best in their first impressions, but honestly, he seems kind of sweet. He seems very nice. I can see him being a problem for Dee. As soon as I heard her say that line about you all are safe, I knew that there was going to be some trouble. And you have to know, in Big Brother, when you say things like that and you go back on it, you are going to be in hot water. Yosh was very correct for pointing that out. I can see why she thinks that he is going to be a thorn in her side. Honestly, if he's able to keep staying safe and he joins a good team, I feel like he could go pretty far. Again, I am so pleasantly surprised by so many of the people this season. Like, there's good gameplay happening. There's interesting gameplay happening. There's entertaining gameplay happening. There is kind of like the obvious kind of big power structure steamrolls right at the beginning happening or starting to happen. So we just have to see if the chaos is going to reign supreme and take some of those people down a peg, which I'm hoping for, because it's never nice when people just steamroll. My predictions for the reality icons: Angela, same old chaotic Angela. We're getting there. I did clock Devins as being kind of a manipulative mental game kind of player. And while it is too soon to really say, he does seem like he is being everybody's friend right now. And then there's also Dee. Honestly, Dee should be the number one biggest threat in that house. She should be on everybody's number one target list, but it doesn't really seem like she's on anybody's radar other than just a blanket, oh, get out the icons, get out the vets. So she is doing a really good job so far, although it would be kind of iconic if some of the newbies who are working with her used her as like the figurehead of the steamroll and then take that person out before the end game. Now, I am making this video a little bit later than I probably should have, and there are already some spoilers for week 2, and I am going to factor those into what I'm about to predict is going to happen next. But the spoilers are, Devins is the new HOH. He is seemingly targeting Rome's side of the house. There has been some tension going on between these two factions. So I believe right now Jason, Melody, and Lyric are all on the block. Rome is looking like a backdoor target. I don't know who won the POV yet. I think they're playing that right now as I'm filming this. Now, the red corner and the crossovers have apparently officially teamed up and are being called the Tool Shed. And then there's also Rome's side of the house. You do kind of have like a distinct like half and half forming right now, and they're kind of going to war at the moment. It's basically the Tool Shed versus the Roman Empire. Unfortunately, I do have to hand it to Rome that his name is really good for making catchy kind of slogans. Now, with all that in mind, here are my predictions for what might happen next. Now, I don't know if this one's just wishful thinking, but I do hope that Jason and Angela secretly team up like the frenemies. I did see one person commented on Reddit that what they hope happens is that Angela wins the POV and takes Jason off. That would be ridiculous in the best way possible, even though I know that's not going to happen. I also predict the red corner is going to blow up the Tool Shed and then become enemy factions seeking revenge on the original crossovers. I can foresee in the future Barrett betraying the rest of the alliance and somehow getting evicted because of that. I don't necessarily wish that one happens, but I can see it happening. My prediction for who's actually going to go home this week is probably Melody. I can also see, while the Roman Empire versus Tool Shed thing is going on, Lala, Taylor, Yosh, and Mallory kind of realize that they're on the outskirts of the outskirts and team up in their own kind of little squad. I can also kind of see Chuck, if the red corner does blow up and then go against the crossovers, him jumping ship from them over to the other side of the house via that smaller group that I think could also come to fruition, or even just joining Rome. I do kind of wonder whether by week 3 we're going to see Haley starting to become the target, because even Rome was apparently calling her out and how nobody likes her. Damn, the worst person you know really just made a good point. Does he know that, like, the reasons why we don't like her are the same reasons why we don't like him? Low-key, I feel like Angela has about 2 weeks until she completely blows up and turns on Devins and Drew specifically. I can also see Drew and Devins specifically making a secret final 2 in which they agree that they're going to eventually pick off the rest of the crossovers and then duke it out amongst themselves towards the end. But overall, the only safe prediction to make is, frankly, that there is going to be chaos, and more chaos every single day. And honestly, being surprised is way more fun than knowing exactly what's going to happen next. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Anyway, those are my predictions after week 1 going into week 2. That's my analysis. Let's see if any of it actually happens. Overall, Big Brother has been on a really fun streak the last couple of years. Introducing the Battle of the Block has really added another dynamic to the early gameplay and to the middle of the week gameplay that's making things a lot more chaotic and fun. So whatever happens, I am very excited to continue watching this season. The last couple seasons have been so much fun, and it is so much fun to have fun with Big Brother again. But yes, that's all I have for you this week. Goodbye. Surprise, but you know what? That's how it is with Big Brother.